It was the 11th of July in Johannesburg. In fact, it was the 11th of July almost everywhere. And everyone was sitting down to watch Holland versus Spain in the World Cup final.
The biggest sporting event, you know, on the planet.
But this was no ordinary final. England were in it. Not the players, obviously, they were all licking their wounds on Caribbean beaches. No, England would be represented by Howard Webb, a 39-year-old policeman from Rotherham.
Sylvester Scatscliffe, Sergeant Webb.
To referee the World Cup final is the greatest honour a referee can have.
What I've learned over 10 years as a police officer, if nothing else, is how to handle people, how to manage people in stressful situations.
He's a really, really good referee, and of course he uses his police officer experience to look a bit more aloof, sir.
We saw interviews with his dad and his mum. They were like beaming with their proudness.
Oh, absolutely delighted. For Howard, really delighted. You know, and he's worked so hard, he's trained so hard.
English fans, English journalists weren't scared. We knew that Webb would do the job.
It was Howard's dream day, but it was about to turn into a nightmare.
On a cool night in Johannesburg, the biggest game in football begins.
And what do you know? One of the worst games for refereeing you could probably imagine.
Oh dear, oh dear.
I'd never seen anything like it. It was such a violent game.
Hope no one's having a tea at home.
And it was a test, it was an ordeal, it was not pleasant.
It was unrefereeable, wasn't it?
The Spanish weren't exactly blameless, but the Dutch were dirtier than a seedy Amsterdam cinema.
That's a cruncher. It's Van Bommel. That is a booking.
Wait that long to get in a final and then you just start kicking the out of the opposition. It seems like a waste of time.
Howard didn't have his truncheon with him, so he lashed out with yellow cards instead.
Another yellow card coming.
14 of them in all, as he desperately tried to keep the game alive.
I mean, he might as well just have gone at the start, OK, pick a card, any card. Don't show it to me.
So that must be more than half the players booked.
But there was one tackle that was even more shocking than all the others put together.
Oh, Onso has been caught, and very heavily indeed, and that's got everybody on the Spanish bench up to their feet. Took him out. Oh.
The guy could have died, you know, the way he was kicked.
He is looking. That was reckless, out of control, Nigel de Jong.
Surely, Howard had to do something now.
That's got to be a straight red, surely.
In Kung Fu, that he would have been disqualified. They would have said, that's too rough for Kung Fu.
But somehow, even for this tackle, Howard still only showed a yellow.
That's an obvious red card. And of course it's obvious. It's obvious to you, it's obvious to me, it's obvious to anyone watching. If you see that challenge as we did with replay and everything else, then it's a red card. Well, the only conclusion you can have, and I know this for a fact, is Howard Webb did not see that challenge.
He's incredibly lucky to still be on the field.
Howard eventually had to show a red card, and the Spanish won one of the ugliest ever finals amidst a storm of controversy. Webb was booed by both sets of fans as he collected his medal, a rare achievement, and later complained it had been the worst 2 hours of his entire life.
Well, Howard Webb did his level best. Oh dear. He's getting an almighty reception, and not in a positive way.
Well, at least England was still proud of him.
It was weird watching the final because you found yourself supporting Howard Webb. It's brilliant, and you didn't really care about the rest of the game. And then you have all of that, and 3 weeks later the season starts, and he goes back to being a